The first thing that went in my mind when I got my skateboard, the first second I went on it, I've noticed that there's no room for 2 people on that. This is a portable asylum. And whatever happens around you, when you go on your skateboard, you're in your bubble, and it's your world. So I told my skateboard, you and me, we're gonna be friends long time. And I wasn't wrong.
You do it the first time in your life and you never know, is it gonna happen, is it not gonna happen?
I think you got to unplug part of your brain. I think self-administered lobotomy. I don't know, some of these guys just have a loony switch, and once it's on, they'll do anything.
You know, it's not like something like Formula One where it was all sussed out like 20 years ago and it's all done on paper, like this is quickest and it's this condition to put this wheel on. Yeah. It's kind of like no one quite knows the answers to stuff.
You're not skating to beat other people, you're skating to like get more experience, do better runs. But as long as you can say like my run was awesome, you won already.
It's like fireworks going in your head, you know, like when you're in that tuck going 40 or 50 down a hill and it's just this bright, like real clarity of thought, like birds flying in formation or something.
Imagine you're cruising down the motorway in your car, but now open the door of the car and stick your head out, and you've still got to control that car and hold your head a few inches off the ground.
If you're there and you hit a great hill with good friends and you slide through corners, maybe you touch each other gently, you've got some kiff situations where you think, holy crap, now we just fucking really killed each other. But it worked out because we're all friends, we know each other's ride, and we know how to react in these situations. Then it's the best feeling ever.
And it's gonna last until you get up to race lines, especially in Europe where they get like cones and stuff stuck on them, for protection. And it's just this like ragtag, it's like a scene from Braveheart or something.
I have a massive respect for my fragile body. I used to ride like a gung-ho, sort of kamikaze, but you can only do that for a while, and then you have a big crash and you can't ride for 6 months.
If I die, I don't care. I had fun, and I'd rather do this instead of sit in an office all my life, earn a shitload of money, and fucking be unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
So, leave me to my pizzas, fuck off with all the judges and lawyers, and let's go skate.
Oh, he was only maybe 50 crazy guy with bad material because the wheels are broken after one downhill. It was really fun experience at the start. And on a downhill like that, we burn maybe 4 or 5 wheels. So we go with a bag with wheels to change. The wheels at this time was not for speed, for sure. And the road was not nice as now. And there is no air in the wheels, you see what I mean? There is a guy, maybe you know, no comp in French. And we see him, he slide. And we try to slide and to brake like that. Before we don't know how to brake. No brake foot, no slide, nothing. Just go and see.
When you skateboard on the roads and after crossing few cars, sometimes you say, well, am I right to do that? But you like your sport and you need to do it somewhere. I skateboard this place since 1976. Everybody in the village knows what a skateboard is, what downhill is. And when you do things, sometimes you don't think about it, but there's some people watching you and they want to do like you. I saw 2 girls like 10, 12 years old with huge helmets, fucking tiny girls, like simple human, doing street lugging at 2 a.m. And I was like, okay, we have to do something because one day someone will die. I thought about this concept of a closed road and where we can skate. I say, well, we need downhill center. And people told me, hey, you fucking nut, no, stop smoking pot, you're nuts. I say, man, we need, and I will make one. Say, hey, you crazy. And I've been see the council, and I say, listen, guys, you kids skateboard till 3, 4 a.m. with cars, and one day we might have a big problem. So what do? Do we wait that we buried one, and outside of the graveyard we say, what should have we done for avoid that? Or I have this to propose to you. What do you think about my idea? And it's 6 weeks we opened this road. And if I'd listened people, I would have never done that. In the life, if you think you have a good idea that doesn't hurt people, totally harmless, and you think it's a need, don't listen to people, go for it. And I have an idiom is don't worry about the music, keep dancing.
My dad, he was, in the beginning when I was about 12, 13, he just said, you're going to kill yourself, don't do it. I'll cut that skateboarding too. But over the years, he can see that I've been going to organised events, wearing leathers. I am safer now than what I used to be. I mean, I used to just go out jeans and t-shirt, bombing hills, but now learnt my lesson. Going to organised events is much safer. You don't have cars.
You're hitting down a street, overtaking a school bus at 60 k's an hour, 1 foot on the street deck, like wobbling like crazy, 1 foot on the road to brake.
It all started like I didn't have a bicycle, I didn't have the car, so what I'm gonna do, I take my skateboard, like go with trains, trams, buses. But in town you're so much quicker with a skateboard. Then I get into downhill because of Sammy. He was like, you crash so hard, you don't mind, so just loved it, like first corner, first crash. I had some leathers on, so I was like, yeah, it don't hurt, so go on,
Et moi, personnellement, ce que j'aime bien, c'est la petite route de montagne étroite, bien sinueuse et bien pentue. Voilà, pour moi, c'est le bon spot, c'est ça. Perdu et pas fréquenté.
From my home, when I go out of my building, to go down to the valley, I got a 16 kilometers road. It's my usual run. I saw a report on some lugers in the USA, and when I saw it, I said, yeah, that's it, that's it. I can brake easily, you can go even faster than on a skateboard. And it was in '89, and I've been riding street luge since this time.
I brought my first skateboard from Argus, and I gave up on trying to do stand-up and skating and started sitting on my board, read about it on the internet, and moved on from there.
When we race street luge, it's 4 of us, and we're in our bright leathers, just like the bright paint jobs on a race car, and we're bumping shoulders and we're going really fast and we're drafting and we're trying to pick the best line. And so I always tell people we're the NASCAR equivalent of ice luge.
They're small, they've got small wheels, it's got bits of duct tape on, it's got padding glued to it, and it doesn't look like a fast piece of kit, but they keep rolling and you get a good steep hill and you will outrun a car.
Buttboard is an unglorified street luge. So you got smaller wheels, smaller boards. Just get a pair of skateboard trucks, a skateboard or longboard, sit on it, and you're going.
Luges, race cars, stand-up is surfing. Stand-up's got a bit more of a flow to it. Technically, it's much harder. There's a bit more soul in stand-up, I think.
The street luge, you get the speed, you get the rush. Stand-up's just a whole lot more sketchy. Yeah. So yeah, it's the vulnerability. It's just that little bit more on the edge. It's much easier to completely screw it up.
Lots of the companies that manufacture boards, they're rider designed.
But I think all of them are really. Like everything seems to come from riders at first. So I think it's such a small market. You've got to be in it for the love of it because you're not going to make much money from it.
Built a couple boards with a friend of mine in a basement. We'd pile everybody in a pickup and drive up a hill and then ride down the hill. We started going faster and faster, and then we just started racing.
Everybody does special things to their setup. I made some base plates for mine. I made it on a milling machine at home. Filling with stuff, it's good.
It's fun to test stuff out. It sucks when they don't work, but it's great when they do.
I just assumed everyone used to ride homemades. There are like a lot more speedboards out now than there used to be. But I realised that like when I was at Danger Bay that it was really like only me and a couple other guys actually had boards that we made ourselves.
Skating, it's desktop engineering. You can sit on your kitchen table and fiddle with all your toys.
A lot of us are geeks, and it's just another toy, you know, something to tinker with, something to play with, and you can tune it, you can improve it, and it's a challenge in itself, trying to perfect a setup. And there's a lot of hours whiled away in dark garages and sheds before these events. Filing, cutting, sawing, you know, fettling. Just generally losing girlfriends over a machine, you know.
It's not about going to a shop and buying the best bit of kit that's the shiniest.
It's not a case of who's got the most money buys the most powerful thing and you're sorted. It's much more of a challenge than like trying to make the little tweaks, and just the little things make the big difference.
Every little thing changes your setup, and from however your setup's riding at that point, you might learn something new. You'll be able to do something that you couldn't do before, and I enjoy just stripping everything out and cleaning it and reassembling it.
You know, the extra closets at home and the spare bedroom, you know, I've got some boards floating around. And if I'm not on the hill, I'm back home thinking of what can I change, what can I make different on my sled, whether it's something that makes it function better or something that makes it look prettier. You know, I don't want to get up one day and just look at it and go, there's all the same old stuff again, and I'm going to go do the same old thing with it. I don't ever want it to get old.
You know, if you live in somewhere like Canada or the Alps or somewhere and you've got a mountain road, it's a pretty obvious thing to do. You know, you just go bomb it, but here you really got to want to do it, or just meet the right people and fall into it like that. You know, you can't go drop that 10k hill every other day.
The way it started out going to races was that there's nowhere to skate in the UK, so we had to go to races to get some kind of closed road to skate.
A lot of people, I think, kind of work 6 months, you know, during the winter to pay for it, and then in the summer it's all about making it to the next race one way or another, you know, trying to get a cheap airfare ticket.
Where we live, it's all flat, so we just have to travel. If you know it, if you want to do a hill, you have to travel, and about 1,000 kilometers, 12 hours. Yeah, just to ride a hill. I would gladly do it again. If you are with 6 or 7 in a car for the gas and the gasoline and the diesel or whatever how you call it, we pay about 60 euros each, and we are here. And then another 50 euros for the entrance fee, and for 110 euros you have yeah, 4 days of paradise.
Shamroos. There was 300 places, and there was 300 people who were on the waiting list. It means 600 people who wanted to come to your event. So when you're looking at this, you're, oh, wow, what do we have here? What do we do? There isn't anybody with another road in Europe or what? Because it's insane sometimes. There is people from Sweden, from all over Europe. When we wanted to make our own event with my friend, we were thinking, why racing? Why not just closing the road and ride it? That's all we want to do, and we try and we do it. I think it's the biggest event in the world. It's not what we're looking for. It gets so big because there is a good road. It's almost 10 kilometers. Either you can be an experienced rider or a beginner. For people who came from places where there is just small hills, where if you got a 2 kilometers run, it's wow. So if you came for a 10 kilometers, and because there is the resort, so you have a facility to have people sleep, to have people taking a shower and everything. It's good to see people coming from far away, because in a way it's a kind of recognition, and you make something good. After, what we wanted to do is to make the French scene and European scene, to make it grow, to have people meeting, to have people seeing that, hey, why don't we do the same? And it works, because there is more clubs, there is more events, and from now it has been the main event of a growing scene, and it has been good to be a part of the growth of this scene.
Pipe, I think, is really the first down in the race. And after in Switzerland and in France, it's developed at the same moment. The American was not model, because when we start, we have no idea. Nobody practiced like that in mountain. Because American practice downhill, pure downhill on straight line very fast, with very specific material, and we only go on the mountain with bike helmet and garden gloves, and that's all. But after we start to going faster and faster, and here we have 9 years ago the first race in France, and we see the style of every different guy, and we learn like that. Cohort is a very old race, I think about the 90s, but it was only buttboard, so sit down.
Once I arrived in Austria, I discovered luging. I never saw that, and I was totally nuts. I was, this is loose, this is full on. And I said to the guy, well, can I go up, for go down? I said, but how will you go down? It's about skateboarding. And the guy said, no, you can't skateboard down this road. It's not possible. I said, man, I come from France. You gave me an invitation. What the fuck am I going to be doing? I'm not going to stay here watching you. And we were 5 Frenchmen. The year after, we were 15 people. And the year after, I wanted to share it with my friends. So I've organized a bus from France, and we were 42 riders coming. The road used to be 10 kilometers long. They used to start from the top of the mountain, which was fucking nuts. On top, it's all wobbling. The concrete is fucked. And it was a mental road.
The road is bad and the corners are bad, and this is good. Like 20 years I do downhills, but professional like in 98, so more races in Cape Town, in Rio, in Kaunertal.
Compared to what we'd ridden before, which was Bude, which is 2 corners, and we went to Hot Hills, which is 4 hairpin bends and a 12% gradient.
Blind chicanes, massive drops, lots of rocks.
We took an absolute beating.
It was a fast, twisting mountain road with some corners that just scared the crap out of you.
Downhill race is all formatted and timed, and you go through into heats, and there's quite a bit of pressure normally, because you're racing the world's best normally out here in Europe. You're building up to going down in like time slots. Freeride is just completely for fun, so you just do it, take your own pace.
You meet loads of people, they're more relaxed, you've got time to enjoy yourself. You don't want to get down every single run so you can stand and watch.
The events are normally all publicised on the internet. That's where everything comes from pretty much.
Without internet, it's more difficult to bring people. It's very difficult to have a media and to pay for media. And internet, it's free for everybody can have it and consult.
Without it, we wouldn't have found out about Hot Heels. We wouldn't have found out about so many European events. It's what really sort of made us take the step from sort of trying it just for fun to actually doing it seriously.
Yeah, I was really searching madly for things that got organized, and then internet. Just follow the forums and the calendars. I'm bailing on the budget and people that can go with me. But yeah, if it would be possible, I would try to do all. It's just to be able to ride. So now I'm working all the time as much as possible to get my money, and then just.
Yes, I organize a lot of events or help, and you have no money, the riders have no money, and then it's very difficult. And the sponsors, you have no sponsors for, they want not give you for an action sport like this. It's possible a rider will be crash very hard and they want not see this, no? And then the sponsor, they want not give money. This, you make events for the family and for fun, and not for money.
En fait, moi, c'est pas que je ride pas, c'est que en fait, ce matin, je me suis levé à 6h et que j'ai fait mes 3-4 descentes dans la piste et que là, je consacre mon après-midi aux autres. Et après tout, c'est vrai que c'est gratifiant de faire... c'est gratifiant pour soi de faire des choses pour les autres. Et donc, effectivement, moi, je trouve du plaisir à organiser comme ça un freeride pour tout le monde. Non, c'est pas un gros sacrifice pour moi.
And we still have a lot of problems with the marshals.
We have 3 marshals short. We're looking for 3 volunteers.
You have to ask someone. It's either a good friend of a rider or a rider. And a rider, he don't want to be on the side of the road. He wanted to ride. We still have problem when we try to find sponsors. We feel that we are not serious enough about the image. And in a way, it's not such a big problem because we got our own protective stuff. So we ask the authorities to close the road, and if it's okay, we can do the event because we just have to rent some van and bring the stuff to the road, put it in the turns, and okay, let's go.
I think it's not possible to close a road if you ask them 2 weeks before. So the government needs really 1 year for that. For the first time, of course. The guys who live here are also very wild. You know, this is not a city here. So we have a connection between the riders and the locals here because both of them are, love the nature, are wild, are freaks.
Many of the people are coming to have a look how they make the training. There's so many people here from many countries. Yeah, I think it must be nice to do it.
You know, this is the World Championships and it's on a shoestring, an absolute shoestring, and people are working for free, people have put in a huge amount of time and effort and money, and it's entirely driven by the riders, paid by the riders and ridden by the riders. It'd be nice to get enough people and enough money to actually get handed over to somebody else, get somebody else to run a race, and so all these people who are busy cooking pasta or sizzling hot dogs can actually get the boards out and ride for once. It's a big sacrifice for these guys, and I appreciate it. But whatever, it's a big commitment. I mean, this is all my holiday used up this year. I've not told my new boss what I do. He thinks I'm picking daisies somewhere. I've found employers don't tend to go down with it too well, because you just get branded as loony.
Driving across Europe to Switzerland, through Italy, France, racing and just free riding.
I'm now in Switzerland, of all places, racing what I started 5 years ago, just going down a little road to get 10 miles an hour. It's now evolved over these years into street luge racing, hitting 60, 70 miles an hour on the other side of Europe. I'd never thought that I'd end up here from sitting on my skateboard.
I mean, we got a great bunch of people here. My car is gonna be unlocked for like 2 weeks now, like from the setup till the finish, and nothing's gonna get stolen. I live in this car. I've been living in it for 4 years. It's all my gear in there. If somebody nicks it, it's gone. It's all my life is in there. But with these people, I'm fucking 1,000,000% sure nothing's gonna go, and you can't have that anywhere else, I guess.
Yeah.
The course is very difficult, and so I think the riders really need 4 days training before the race. I think it's not possible to come here and start the race 1 day later.
In England, we never really ride against each other, 2 up maybe. To ride in a pack, 5, 6 up, is something we never get to do. Riding with these guys is what I'm here for.
We have a steep road, we have probably quite high speeds, we have steep dropping sides of the roads. If you guys are going to fly off in the wrong spot, you can seriously kill yourself. So we will not tolerate any dangerous activities. I want to have fun on this hill. I don't want any dead bodies I have to bury in the forest. No worry, they won't find them, but I just don't want to dig the holes, yeah? Okay?
At the top, I'm thinking about the gas bill, Margaret Thatcher, those things you think about when your mind's totally blank. That's about it. There's no secrets then. I'm mainly trying not to think too hard about the hill. Otherwise I'll scare myself and I'll ride real stiff.
Ready to roll. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Until Ima says go, I don't think about the hill. And when Ima says go, then that's all I think about for about 3 minutes.
Well, it's scary because getting all the stuff like the leathers and the board, and then suddenly you realise you're in it, and then they check the board, and then you're standing at the top, and then you go.
I always used to have kind of a little bit of fear at the top of a new hill because you just never exactly know when something's going to go as you didn't plan. Or we're riding with so many different people, and you don't get to really know right off the bat how good a rider are they, and are they going to do something that might cause a pile up or something like that.
It's a mixture of apprehension and excitement, I guess.
If you're pushing it to the edge, to the limits, it can be scary. You've got to keep testing yourself, and that's where the fear factor comes in.
It's like kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go fast, or I'm gonna go safe. I'm gonna crash. It's like quite a lot of stuff going through your head. Like you're thinking, what's gonna happen if she crash, I crash? Who's gonna crash? Crashing is such a big thing. Even if you're like lost in your heat, if someone crashes in front of you, you can win if you're like number 4 in the heat, So you think about lots of stuff. It's too much sometimes.
I'm thinking that even though I'm nervous, I can't let my body be. I need to be stiff, not like shaking.
The first time we come here, we look at the hill and it's so steep. We're like, oh, we can't ride this hill, we can't ride it. And now 3 days later we just bomb it like we've done it all our lives, It's just overcoming the fear.
Did you hear us cheering?
No. All I can hear is fuck, 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 fuck. Look at the top 10, top 20 riders. They just love going fast. And show them the hill, challenge them with the hill, and they'll ride it fast every time. And they've all got their different styles. They all break in different places. Some of them don't break at all. It's a phenomenal display of skill.
You're concentrating and strategizing and thinking about how you're going to do, and you got a lot of nerves, and there's a lot going on in the mind for sure. There's a certain amount of skill. There's also a fair bit of luck as well. I mean, you can have somebody crash into you. There's nothing you can do about that. When you're racing, it's more tactical. You're thinking about where you're going to pass somebody or how you're going to attack the hill.
I just talk to myself, like, stay down, don't brake too much, take it easy, no one is behind you, or like they are in front of you, go fast. Like, it always depends what the situation is. I try to go as fast as I can, but still you're like, no, you're not gonna crash now, you're not gonna crash now.
You've got to have the balls to hit the corners at speed. You've got to have balance. You may be lying down, but you've still got to have balance to hang right off the board, pull it through the corners, and then a good aerodynamic tuck. If you've got straightaways, you've got to keep your feet together, your head low, and that way you'll just get a bit faster.
When you're qualifying, the racing line's important, but when you're racing in a pack, the racing line is suddenly detected by traffic.
You get put in heats with people you don't know, you've never ridden with, but you need to adapt, and that's what skateboarding is all about.
Give or take a couple hundredths of a second. Like Darryl Freeman is like pretty much as quick as, like, I don't know, Martin Seagraves, someone like that, but they go down the hill totally differently, but knowing like which way works.
It's the equipment as well, like you've got people on just amazing technology setups that are just the best of everything, and then you've got people who are riding just like a skateboard, quite literally in its purest form.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're going to be quicker if you've got flash kicks. I mean, it really does not help.
It's almost a Zen thing, you know. You just try and clear your mind and not have anything else to think about other than just stretch of tarmac immediately ahead of you. And that's the whole universe. Red mist comes down and you just push like hell and do what you can, you know.
Nothing else matters for those few minutes that you're on that board. All that matters is staying on the board and getting down the hill.
There's that commitment to doing what you're doing, and you're only aware of your immediate surroundings. It's a very spiritual thing. I think it's just like us here and now in the moment that we exist in.
It's good, it's satisfying. It's better when the clock's ticking because you can quantify what you've achieved. But even so, a clean run on this hill is worth the trip alone, you know.
Getting to the bottom from a clean run is just it's an awesome feeling. So I got to the bottom of my qualifying run and I knew it wasn't the best qualifying time or anything, but I knew it was a good run. It just felt good the whole way down. And I didn't even care what my time was because everything just felt smooth. The sled performed the way I wanted to. You know, I kind of did what I wanted to down there. You know, even though I may have run a few of the turns slower than I wanted, it still, no, I wasn't scrubbing. It just, when you do a perfect run, it's like you think your way down the hill. You know, your body is just automatically reacting to everything, and it just feels very smooth, and it's very fluid, and the sensation of speed that low to the ground, I mean, just everything about it. It's just a total, you know, experience of all your senses. And then to have it in this kind of scenery, you know, to be out here in the Alps and everything, and to see everything whizzing by and knowing that, you know, I'm on the other side of the world from where I normally live, and when I get to the bottom, just seeing what I'm in the middle of, it's an awesome experience.
I'm very much aware that, you know, there's more races this year than just the one, and so I'm trying to get around the corners in one piece and enjoy a whole year of riding instead of just 3 minutes and a lot of pain.
With a lot of training and a lot of riding, you can get a basic confidence. So if you drive up a road and you look at the turns and you kind of try to remember where the big holes are and stuff, and you open your eyes as you go down, you can minimize the risk by going slow, by being ready to brake. You can never eliminate the risk.
Well, obviously, in the event of an incident, you can look back and say that I was in danger and I succumbed to whatever dangerous thing was there. But you don't do it because it's dangerous, you do it because it's exciting.
Well, I've been sliding out a bit, but I had my first crash now. I was braking and I got the speed wobble. And yeah, I was just rolling around a bit. It was cool. I marked my helmet a bit, but it's no problem.
If you think you're about to crash, do something about it and try not to. Yeah, you just got to keep turning. Yeah, I mean, you almost always crash on a corner. It's not often you crash in a straight line. So you just got to keep riding, and you'd be amazed at what you can pull yourself out of sometimes if you really have to.
I think it's one of those things that you've just got to conquer any fear you have with it, because if you don't, the fear will take you, and you just won't be able to do it.
You can't really tell them, no, it's not dangerous. It is dangerous, and we can die, but if you skate, you have to live it there. Maybe your friend is gonna die or you're gonna die, but that's part of it. Otherwise, don't do it. Better leave it.
No, it's it's only skin and bone, isn't it? You saw Troller today, he's gore everywhere, and he loves it. He loves it. He's got another scar to show the grandkids.
In Pipe, I scratched my face, and 2 years after I broke my back, and 4 years ago my shoulder, and 2 years ago 3 finger. So yes, it's hard.
It's a very unpredictable sport,
Yeah.
Like one day you charging, you got a plan, and next day you're in hospital for a few months, Everybody that really wants to pursue this kind of thing must know that at some stage they're going to have a problem. Physically, you're going to get injured,
Yeah.
I've been at events where guys have died, where guys have injured themselves, where guys have snapped their legs in half.
The crash at Hot Heels was simply a question of taking a corner which is blind and the fastest part of the course and entering it slightly offline in trying to correct at really high speed like that when you're doing, I don't know what you'd be doing through Hell's Gate, something like 60, 65. Then you find yourself in the kind of position that I did, and I just went too wide, and too wide as a cliff.
And I was drifting towards this fence post, and I just thought, this is it, I've had it, I'm going to end up with no legs. So I jumped off the board, lying down, still doing about 25, 30 miles an hour, and just scraped along the floor, and my entire left leg was just open and bleeding. My left arm was just hanging off, and from then on it's just been, this is stupid, start doing it properly.
I crashed at Troyes in Wales. Almost broke my left foot off and spent 3 or 4 nights in Bangor Hospital having it drilled and plated and put back on.
I almost killed myself one time on a road. I got a problem with a car, and then I almost died. And then I say, okay, I'm going to stop now.
Lewis came down and he went into the back of Luke like a wedge. Just Luke managed to get all the way into the air and get to the upside down position before he came down. And Lewis just carried on for about 6 foot or so and landed in a ditch, and they were both unconscious, like in the ditch, about 7 foot apart.
And that resulted in 3 days in hospital, where they thought I'd broken 2 of my vertebrae and possibly had a brain hemorrhage. And so for a while it was a little scary, but it was fine. And they released me after 3 days. And I went back up to the Almatrieb, borrowed a board off somebody else and skated down it. So.
Actually, today is the 1-year anniversary of a very bad crash I had back in the United States. My girlfriend at the time, her name's Stacy Allen, and I were out working on a documentary that was on a very basic hill, very beginner hill, where we taught everyone how to street luge at, where we both learned how to street luge at. And the last run of the day, we only did 3 quick runs in the morning, almost all the way down to the bottom of the hill. We have no idea what went wrong or why, but we had a bad crash. And even though we have all the video from it, because we were behind a camera truck, we can't figure out what went wrong. I mean, and I've talked to several people here that have seen the video, and they don't understand what went wrong either. It was a freak accident. But the 2 of us got pushed off the road. The ground, fell away off that side, and we went down through lots of trees and rocks. I ended up getting a concussion, smashed my helmet pretty good. I broke 5 ribs, I cracked a vertebrae, tore my rotator cuff, and I got off easy. I took a bad helmet strike. I was out cold, and they tried to say I was dead on scene, and then when they got vital signs, they life flighted me out. When they looked at her, she had real bad internal bleeding. She had lacerated her liver on top of all the broken bones, and they didn't expect her to live through the first 2 nights because she was bleeding internally so bad and they couldn't stop it. I woke up like a week later and found out what had happened. Currently, she's paralyzed from the waist down. We knew that fairly early on. She's found out the best way to heal from what she's going through is to not do the painkillers and not do the muscle relaxers, because all that pain is sending a message, and it's trying to connect with the brain again. All the muscle spasms, that's exercise for her legs. It keeps her muscles strong. It keeps them alive so they don't, atrophy and die on her. And so there's many nights that she lays awake because she's in pain from all this, but that's just how strong and determined she is. I know she gets scared from time to time that, life is going to be like that, but I know she's also not settling for it. She's very driven. I think her determination really does it. I don't think she's even aware how much she does do it. I know when she's walking again and she looks back on all of it, that it's going to be a short time in her life where she had to undergo something spectacular, and not spectacular in a good way, but she will have done it and she will have made it through, and I think she's going to be an even more incredible person when she does that.
No matter how bad it is, there's always a way out somehow. And like a friend of mine who blew his knee doing martial arts, the doctors told him you're never going to have full movability on the knee anymore. He said, fuck you, I will have a fully movable and strong knee again. And he just worked on it, and he trained, and he had a lot of pain, but he made it. And the thing is that the mind controls the body, and not the other way around. There is a chance to seriously hurt ourselves in every move we do every day. I mean, we look at the course and we think, oh, it's good, there's mattresses. If I get off there, I'm gonna fly and I'm gonna hit that tree. Yeah. I wear a bracelet saying respect the mountain, and I throw myself down a mountain with no protection except for a helmet and gloves at all. Yeah. The mountain's gotta teach me a lesson at some stage.
I broke 3 helmets in 2004. And every one I reckon saved my life. Luke was dragged down the road on his head, and his helmet wore so thin you could hold it up to the light and you can see through it. And that was an HJC downhill helmet, and I'd buy one. We tried to kill it afterwards with a fence stake, and we just couldn't get through the thing. I'm quite fussy about helmets, and I always wear a motorsport hat. There's bones of contention existing around the subject, but frankly, I'd rather not have to find out if the helmet was strong enough or not.
I was just going really slow and just carving and flipped over and hit your head, and so I always ride with the helmet now, like even if it's just to the corner store or whatever, and always anybody I ride with, I always make sure they ride with helmets too, because it's so easy.
At the end of the day, you've only got one head, and you know, a helmet's cheap in comparison to learning to walk again. You should invest as much as you value yourself in your protective equipment.
Yeah, it's the helmet, of course. Casque.
Sammy wiped out a couple of days ago here. His helmet's broken, but he's okay, and that's what they're for. If he didn't have his helmet on, he may not be here.
I thought the day I completely opened my back at the beginning of this week, nothing was going to happen, and I was wrong. If I wouldn't have been wearing that damn helmet, I would be lying on the street still or in a hospital. Or if I'm lucky, without a helmet, I'm lying in hospital. And the thing is, my skin on my back, it's not bad. It's growing back. I mean, I can lean back in the chair already, and this is not even a week. We've had friends, they spent three weeks in the artificial coma, and they woke up, and they were lucky to wake up. There is so many people that have ended up in a wheelchair with no control, with even the mind turned off. We've had crashes, and they all ended up badly without the helmet. I mean, you don't see Michael Schumacher in his Ferrari without his full helmet and fireproof suit and shit. You lose screws, wheels blow, it happens every day. And you can't do anything about it because you don't know about it. But you can put a helmet on your head, just provincially. So if you slam it, it's protected. And it's such an easy thing to do, and you're such a dumbass if you don't do it.
If I could only have sort of two pieces of equipment, it would be a helmet and then gloves. Because you always put out your hands, and you can use your hands to do slides and you put them down and so on.
I went through a period of making all sorts of slider gloves. I experimented with all sorts of things from wood to granite to plastic and polythene, and chopping boards easily available pretty much everywhere you go, and it's very cheap, and you just glue another piece on when you're done with it. At the moment I'm using police riot gloves because they're a very thin leather, and they're armoured in the backs of them as well, so not quite what I think they were intended for.
At the beginning we have no leisure combination, so we stick some plastic on the bottom. Cones, yes, what cones?
Well, this is a piece of cone that I use for my butt for sliding, and I picked it up off the side of the road and just cut it into a piece that fits really neat onto your bump. Looks good, works good. That's it.
The nicest thing about the whole long skating thing, if you see people, everybody has his own approach. Some people use cone, other people use whatever, cutting things and whatever, and the moment you feel safe and you feel okay, I don't know, it's like we say in Dutch, it's like a bricoleur. You just do everything yourself, even if you don't know how. You just try it and see how it works out.
Piece of tyre, shoe, glue, clamps. I think this is an old motorbike tyre or some piece of farm equipment. They found it in a ditch.
When you saw a luge to someone who have never seen it, how do you brake? And they actually didn't believe you can brake efficiently with some rubber under your shoes, but it works.
And now I have this shoe with a winter tire. It's very good for braking because it's much softer than a normal summer tire, so it brakes faster. In Sweden you need to have them. You have them ones with the spikes and you have the ones without the spikes. It's like
you can look at someone's leathers and see that they've crashed. These ones have been crashing quite a bit.
You can fall off at 50 in leathers and not have a mark on you.
Oh man, leathers have saved my bacon so many times. They've not always saved my ass. I've worn 3 leathers. Leathers, you got to keep checking them because tarmac is rough and it shreds things.
But I like it when there's people, when people spectate. I like it because it's good for them. I know that they're getting a good show, and maybe one of them will go away, tell a friend, and we'll see somebody else on the hill, somebody new. But it does lead to problems because the marshals are hard pressed to run the road without a crowd, and when you've got people wandering over and trying to cross the street.
There is a local interest because people from now, they know there is a guy with the small wheels on, let's go.
Who do you like to ride with?
Anyone and everyone.
With my girls, of course, always. I have so much fun.
It pays to stay with a pack who you know and trust and can predict. It's not unusual in a free ride to find some guy who will just throw a slide in front of you or take a really weird line or stop for a cigarette. Or
you have to trust people you don't know. You just have to say, right, okay, they're here, they're on the hill, they've got to know what they're doing.
The first couple of days went by and I got to talk to people, and there's some things that the more experienced riders pick up on that the less experienced don't, as far as how the sleds handle, how far you can push the wheels in a turn, how to properly set up a board. And just from talking to them here at the camp and understanding, okay, how much they know about what they're doing, it gives a comfort that when you get on the hill with them, you know that these guys know what they're doing. They're going to be, good riders. You can trust them. You can run close to them.
Yeah, you need to be able to trust the people that you're going into a corner with, really. And if you don't know and trust them, I generally don't go into corners with them.
I think the Frenchies are quite good in like sliding and like having like a party on the road. But if you see Rolly, you're like, whoa, I'm so stuck, like going stand up through every corner and like still very good in the race.
In terms of the racing, there's certain countries that have really stepped it up. Brazil has lots of very talented riders, as well as South Africa. And then in Europe, Switzerland, Germany, France, Sweden. So it's fun when everybody comes together and you get the different styles. The guys that come in flying, sliding, and the guys that foot brake and then take the corner.
When I first got into it, it was much smaller, very few people riding, and it's just grown year on year, and it's really nice to be able to come out and ride with a big group of people that you know already. But you always make new friends at events, and it's a real close-knit community I found with downhill. Everybody looks out for each other, and people are willing to help each other out as well.
Why do you think that is?
I think partially it's got to be down to the fact that it is a dangerous sport, and you've got to keep your wits about you. You've got to look out for each other, because if you don't and somebody has an accident, you could be stuck there for ages before somebody realises.
It's like a big family. I went to Sweden and stayed with some Swedish riders there. Went to France, stayed with some riders there. I've been to Africa and Brazil, and stayed. And whenever they come to Canada, they have a place to stay too. So it's a big family right now, and it's a great scene to be involved in.
For me, it's really the backbone of those kind of sports. As soon as you practice it, you are a friend of another guy who practices it. Sometimes it's really helpful to find some people. Hey, do you know where I can sleep? Hey, no problem. Come at my flat, and we'll find something to eat. So it's really important for me.
That's why you see rollerblading, street luge, skate. It's different, but everybody is together. Yeah, it's important. It's a big family, and when we arrive, we have to say hello to everybody.
It's just like the best kind of party atmosphere kind of thing, because it's just people you don't see, like you only see 2 or 3 times a year kind of thing. They're still your friends, but you've got to go to these weird hills thousands of miles away just to hang out kind of thing. And then it's amazing the people I've met, doing it, just people you wouldn't ever bump into kind of thing, like really a whole age range kind of thing. It's cool, like all walks of life, I guess, but you get sucked up into the, like this kind of big extended dysfunctional family.
And that's just the great thing about the whole long skating atmosphere. I was into surfing before and snowboarding, and the atmosphere is a little bit more aggressive. Then here you arrive and it was like, the Belgians are there as well, and that's just the greatest thing about the whole sport, and that's why I think I'm also so addicted to it.
The whole friendship and everybody, I mean, no matter if they're fucking world champions or fucking whatever titles, if you need a hand, just call me. Like, I've heard that a billion times. That's what makes a difference.
Everybody's loaning wheels and hardware, and I mean, it's like, you know, that guy's your competitor and you just loaned him a better set of wheels, you know, stuff like that, because nobody cares. And see people that I've seen on different continents and stuff, and their family. You know, you travel all over the world and you keep seeing the same group of people all the time. And it's like, you know, you miss them and stuff like that. And it's, you know, something, all the different things I've ever done before, you know, this is the one sport where I've felt that kind of camaraderie and everything between everybody. There's no politics, there's no weird shit going on. Nobody cares. It's all about just bombing the hill, and that's it.
That's the way it should stay.
People aren't bothered, you know, they're more than willing to help you out if you want a hand, if you need some advice, if you need some tools. There's always somebody who's able to help. It's the best feeling in the world to see someone come down a hill with a big smile on their face.
They're kindred spirits, we all are. There's a great sense of community, and it's what I look forward to. I mean, that thing behind me scares the shit out of me, and if I was on my own with strangers, I probably wouldn't even get up in the morning.
We're all good friends, we all know how each other rides, and it's good to race with each other, but it's also good just to cruise on the mountains. You get in between each other, you overtake, you pass each other, and you shout insults as you pass.
I learn by myself, and I think that when you have a knowledge, if you don't share it, your knowledge is worth shit. So it's your duty to share it and teach people what you do, and that's how after it's spread out.
Somebody doesn't know what skateboarding is all about, I'll give him my second pair of leathers and just take him in the back of my skateboard. Strap on, let's go, I'll show you.
I've always been competitive with my brother, with my friends. It's nice to win the occasional race. It's a real boost to the ego. When it comes to the racing, I do focus and I want to win. At the end of the day, the street luge, it's a machine made for racing. Skateboard is great for free rides. You can sit back, relax, carve. These things are designed to go fast, and that's what they want.
If I see Sander going faster, I just want to go faster too, so.
Yeah, you always want to beat your friends.
It's competitive, and it's a sport, there's no doubt. And without that kind of friendly banter and so on, you know, the whole hill would be an infinitely poorer place.
You know, you just go to every race and you want to win it. It's a mental thing. You get confident and you know you can win now. And
it's a nice feeling to know that in something that I've done for at least a moment in time, I was recognized as I was #2 in the world. It feels a little strange to have gotten so close, you know, and then just be #2 and not get #1.
When I was good, I prefer race. Now it's okay with freeride, it's good.
What sort of drives you to do it? Is it to...
Prizes.
Prizes.
And trophies.
You ever won a prize?
Yes, when I first started, but I haven't won one since.
There's no prizes in this sport. It's for the love of it.
We've been winning every race just because we are riding for fun. And once, only once, we've been to a race for winning, and we lost.
Downhill skateboarding is, so far I know, the only real sport if you look at the Olympic thought.
Yeah.
And the good thing here is that no one needs a special trick because we're family and we don't want to cheat on each other. We want to have a fair competition and shall the faster be the winner, not the one that has the better gear or the better trainer or more money, because there is no money, there is no trainer. And the gear we exchange so everybody can try, because people are not even hiding their setups and everything from each other. They're helping each other.
Ripped through my leathers, ripped through my boots, ripped through my gloves, my luges are right off. So what, I've wrecked all my kit. It's been an experience and it's been worth it. Why do I do it? Money. I wish I actually quit my job to come to this race. Why do I do it? It's fun, it's something to do, I enjoy it, and there's a lot of great people here.
Yeah, once you get the taste of speed, you just always want to go faster and faster and faster.
I've just always loved going fast and racing.
Sensation, the feeling you have when you are on your longboard or on your street luge. And, yeah, you have to try it to know it. It's a unique sensation, and yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what makes me going to the top of the hill and going down.
I'm having fun on the ride. I'm skating. I meet the people. I'm not here to win. No way. Because even if I win, I can't live it from it. You know, like I'm not making any money with skating, so why should it be like going for the first place? It's just like skating together, and like sometimes you crash, sometimes you like she's faster, that's how it is, and like sometimes someone else crash. So just race and have fun. It doesn't matter which position you are.
If you arrive at the bottom of the mountain with a big grin on your face, you won. But as soon as you lose the spirit of the true sport, like make it to the bottom of the hill, end it with a big smile, maybe a couple of pizzas and a couple of scratches in your helmet. If you have that mentality, you can have fun anywhere, on any kind of board, in any terrain.
But from myself, I'm not really a competitive person. Even here, if I see somebody in front of me, is just blocking me, then I'm going to try to go past him. But if he's just there doing his thing, I can as well stay behind him just to watch. I'm not really... I like to go fast, but the racing thing is really not my thing.
Yeah, you have to do it, then you feel it, and then you know why we are crazy for normal people, but it's not crazy.
And people wonder why you do it. But, I think it's more out of that they don't have something that fuels their passion in life.
It's like, you know, you just empty your shit, your daily shit, and skateboard and have fun, and that's it.
Après, l'état d'esprit, il est simple et clair. Il suffit de voir le cadre nature, pas de voisins. Je veux dire, on a tout ce qu'il faut pour être heureux ici. C'est le bonheur.
Basically, everybody can skate. No matter who you are, no matter how, like, a dumbass you are in sports, usually. It's kind of hard to describe because you actually need to do it. Get a helmet on, get some pads on, get yourself a board, and get somebody to tell you how to do it, because we're friendly people and we will give you some advice. Just speak to us.
Well, it's the fringe of a fringe, really, isn't it? It's a very niche sport that nobody really understands. You talk about skateboarding and people think about teenagers beating up bus stops.
A lot of people say they're an adrenaline junkie, love the thrill, love the rush. I like to experience things. I'm not only getting to go and experience what it's like to go down this road. You know, I get done at the end of the day and I get to experience all these different cultures. I get to experience a place in the world I've never been to. I get to meet people that, you know, I would have never met any other way. I get to eat things I wouldn't normally eat at home. One day, I am going to die, hopefully not doing any of this stuff, but, you know, I'm not going to be able to take any of the things that I bought or any of the money or anything. I'm just going to be able to take the memories and the experiences, and that's this week. That's what I've made. That, to me, is what it's all about.
So how much of each day do you think about skateboarding?
Probably more than my boss would like me to.
I think about it all the time.
I think I do spend a bit too much time doing it. My dad's just kicked me out of the house and put me up in the shed because of all my equipment that I keep like lying around the house.
Yeah, my house is full of skateboards and, you know, I don't eat standing on it, but there's always one there. There's always one in my car.
Whenever I leave my house, there's a skateboard with me. And if there's not, I'm like, every time it's like, where's my board? Where I lost it? Like,
it's halfway between an obsession and a hobby, and it's good that way.
Well, obsession sounds like kind of a bad thing. I think it's a real good thing because you're doing something good to your body, except when you crash, but it's still a million times better than if you'd smoke and drink and do drugs. So it's not like an obsession in a bad way. It's a good thing because you actually move, you do a sport, and you're not doing any harm to anybody. You might leave some wax on a curb, but I think society can deal with that. I mean, they have bigger problems to solve.
I don't know how to categorize it, really. It's an obsession, I think. It's an obsession. But it's one that I have and I have to live with. And loads of people don't do much. You know, a lot of my friends, they don't have a hobby or a pursuit or just something that they do when they're not in the pub or at work. And I can't imagine not having something like that. I can't imagine not having downhill to occupy me. It's, you know, I'm at work and I'm thinking and, you know, I'm planning things and wondering where I can get a cheap ticket, thinking about when do I have to sign up. Every day of the week there's downhill there somewhere. I just wish more people would do the same. And none of my friends would have anything to do with it. They see me on crutches too many times.
In the winter time when I'm not going downhill, then it's like, oh, how can I do that in the summer? It's you can get so hurt.
Over the winter, it's kind of like, you know, you start working, earning some cash, and like just doing other types of skating, and it's kind of it's so much easier. You know, you don't have to travel, like you can fit it in around your life, kind of thing. And by the end of the winter, you kind of think, you know, I'm maybe I just won't bother anymore. And then you do that one good hill or something, you get back into it, and straight away you remember kind of why you're doing it.
It's a passion. It's a drug. It's a drug. I try to stop with this, but every time I have a look on internet site and see event like that, okay, and I am here.
Could you ever give it up?
No, I don't think I could. It would take something really major to happen, and then I'd still find a way to get down hills. I don't think I'd ever give it up.
If something really bad happens, maybe I would give it up, but not completely. I'd never leave the community. The community is great.
No, skating is number one. It's actually a lifestyle. It's like wherever I go, I got a skateboard. If I go out, I don't know how to come back home, so I take my skateboard with. And wherever I go, I'm so much quicker on my skateboard, like overtaking trams. And like after work, you see all the cars like get stuck in traffic and just like cruising around the car, and they're like going mad, and you're like, yeah, why are you driving a car in town? You know, it's so much better and you're so much faster with a skateboard. And it's so much more fun. As long as I got legs, I'm not gonna stop. Definitely not.
I think I'll always be riding. It's just such a great feeling. I mean, just going out for a cruise with your friends, or using it as a mode of transportation to get somewhere, to the corner store or wherever. It just puts a smile on your face.
As long as you move, you live. If you just sit around, you die. You don't do anything anymore. So I don't want to stop skateboarding. It's not the plan. It's not the plan to stop.
Is there anything that would stop you riding?
Yeah, maybe because I'm getting older, but even by getting older, you can still do it. Maybe not so with so much speed. I've met a guy a few years ago. He was still skiing at 93. So he was going slowly. But he was on the snow. He was on his ski, and he was having fun. And the fun is what I'm looking. Yeah. So years ago, I got a big crash. I have to relearn to walk. Really? For 6 months, I wasn't sure I can ride again one day. So you have to think a lot in your head. And okay, what will I do? And there is other things to try, things to get really involved in, to do the things totally, you know, being into something and make it as much, as far as you can. Yeah. It could be just walking in the mountains and looking at the view, or making pictures.
There's always that hill where you live, you know, like there'll always be one that you just look at it, you drive past it every day to work or something, and you still have to skate at it, but it's kind of there, and you know it's going to keep bugging you until you do it, sort of thing. So I think, yeah, that's my driving thing now, I guess.
I mean, can you imagine not driving up a road and think, holy damn, why don't I have my board here? And why have I got an appointment or whatever I have to go to? Why don't I have time to skate back down and ride back up? I mean, every curb I see in the street, every skate bar that passes me when I drive past is like, do I have the time? Many times I have the time to go and check it out, and sometimes I haven't. But the thought's always there, because once you're infected and addicted, there's no way out.
it.